It's not sealed all the way. Can you see that?
I can.
Okay, and up there,
I
up
do.
there at the top.
I did.
So, on this section here between the wall and the tile, would that also have been caulked or grouted? Say if you were doing it, what would you have done?
That's a hard seam. It's an extraordinary,
Hard seam meaning hard.
difficult to engineer. Because that if, for example, using your door, I mean, you know, if this is the back of the shower and it comes out and that's basically the place, it's the intersection between the wood and the tile, then if you have a bullnose, meaning that a bullnose is a tile that actually it'll curve to terminate and make a fine line. And here again, you're intersecting two different types of material has a tendency to move. And flex or whatever, because you know I just left the house and it's a 80s build with 80s wood, which is a lot better than what we have today, like your house here, and it's a lot more dense, and it's even contracting and expanding, and every year we see cracks opening and cracks close, and it's just become comedy. But instead of a tile that terminates here into a dead end, it actually has a curve in it that would just kiss the edge of that and make a tiny little line, kind of like that tiny little line, and you can run a tiny little bead of caulk. And if it doesn't get wet, you might like this application and to say that what I might do here is a clear, because I wouldn't want a white line against my wood and then a white line against, and then an almond, it's not quite white. So what I'd do, I'd run a clear line right on top of the grout and it'd be fine. This is a lot more difficult because you know, you had your light right there, and what that was showing is that I actually see hardy board, and you see the white and the browns and all this other stuff, and probably, you know, it's a bigger gap. I might use a sanded caulk, and it's just difficult to navigate. You got a crown molding up there that's stopping it from moving any further over, and you know, I'm just thinking about all of the different pieces of just a wood-based trim like that. Looks like a yellow pine. And what could we do? And, you know, I think this might dictate how thick it can be. And that's a good illustration of what it would have been. If it could live in the world of it would be nice if you had something close to that, and then that coming to here, if that could have bullnosed and just come in and turned and formed a little bit tighter fit between the new wall and the tile wall. But the tile had to have a backer board, and that's the difference in the height is the width of the tile. And it's kind of like the devil in the deep blue sea. And I'm not really sure what we could have done. I mean, there's no instruction book to say that in the event that you have this is what you do, because this is a little extraordinary.
Well, even if the grout line had like been continuous and there hadn't been any gaps,
I agree. And
still you would probably have done the clear epoxy just to seal it, like you're talking about doing on this side.
Well, you know, my suggestion for a remedy here is that if I'm the homeowner, I would rather not see cavities. And what I would do is mix up a sanded grout, because that grout exceeds 1/8. And I would get this exact color. And what I would, you know, it starts to get, it's the difference in a craftsman and a handy guy. It's the artistry. Is that, you know, and I don't know why we do this. I've never found it, but you know, they always say lick their finger. Maybe, I don't know, water or something. But, and somebody would know. Somebody recently told me, what was it? Take a piece of ice and you push the material in here, and then try to form with your finger a uniform surface, so that when you come up here, that it ends up to be continuous and in one line. And if you can fill this gap, and maybe a thumb would be better, because what you're going to do is is, and I don't know, maybe if you look from top down and you shine your light in that, you can see the difference of if my thumb was, the edge of my finger was aligned here, and it kind of just fills in behind it a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't really, I don't mind the gap.
Yeah.
But it's the degradation piece that
Sure,
I'm thinking
yeah.
of. So
I agree.
I hear what you're saying.
I agree.
But just to
Sure.
fill in the gaps.
I don't think what he left you with is going to cause any problems, but I think that maybe a little bit better finish would be in order.
Okay.
If you're okay with that.
Okay. That sounds fine.
Okay.
That sounds fine. And the other thing that I mentioned to you was the bottom of that door was already, these
Yeah.
3 doors
Yeah.
were all new doors.
Okay.
So that's coming loose there on the corner.
That's a new door.
That's a new door, yes.
Okay.
Yes, with an old one up.
That's a pretty door. Look at that. Okay.
And then I had a question too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why this door, I've never had this problem before, but this door is molding something fierce. And the other door ends are not doing that. I mean, this end is not, and so I don't know what that's about. And I wanted to ask you if you might have.
Well, I felt something come off in my fingers. I mean, it's not a significant amount of something, but it's a something. And my first question is exactly what is it by definition? And I think I'm going to have to agree with you that it might. Well, it seems to like whatever this line is.
Yep.
Because it does. You see, you can see it right there. Yeah, that's odd, isn't it?
It's very odd.
To have
It's
just
very
that
odd.
one spot.
Yeah, it's not even the other seam. It's just, well, it is up here. It's
Well,
it's
look at
doing
that.
it over here too.
Look at this. See if I can. Just yeah. I have a working theory. Do you have anything that might get me about a foot taller, like a step stool?
Yeah.
Thank
I
you,
do.
ma'am. You know what I'm thinking about? I want to see the top of that door. There it is. Perfect. Thank you, ma'am. Let's see what's up there. I want to look at, let's see, is it that door? I want to look at that door and I'll look at that door at the same time. Alright. Well, that blows that theory away. What I was thinking about is that if it didn't have a good coat of sealer, it would mold. And that should be uniform over all surfaces. It would make sense, but for some reason it's not. And it looks like the mold just likes that spot. Let's see here. Trying to. Let's see. I'll look at the bottom. Grab this guy, see if I can get a picture. I'm gonna pick that. There we go. Okay. Looks like the bottom might have it too. right on that piece of veneer. The bottom of this one looks like it's got a bunch of scratches. I'm not sure. The other one doesn't. Let's see here. I'm gonna make this suggestion. What I'd like to do is sand this edge.
Is sand.
Well, really whichever edge we need to, because
Sand it and just refinish it then?
well, exactly. And if I just can't help but think that it. I'll let you get that.
Thank you. Hello? No. Alrighty. Bye. Okay. It looks like I ran my hand underneath this door over here too.
Right, sure.
And
You find the same thing? Is
yeah,
it blue-green?
looks like it.
Same stuff. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this has some medicine, some insulation. It's just bizarre.
Well, it's what I'd like to do if we can.
Okay.
I would take them off if we need to and look at the bottom and just a light sanding so that whatever's there, let's get rid of it.
Exactly.
And let's recover it because you know, for example, I don't know if this is accurate or good, but the face of this door doesn't have any problems. I can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's continuous, uniform. It's the sheen is equal and it doesn't have any mold.
Right.
And it looks like it's got a really, really good coat, and I'm gonna guess polyurethane. And other places, it doesn't look like it's a bad coat of polyurethane, but I was wondering that if the mold just particularly likes that spot for whatever reason. And I don't know why it would like that spot and other spots it doesn't like, because I know it likes it right there. Because I see it's a little bit green, and I can tell when I rub it, it changes color. Meaning I'm taking a little bit of it off and making it mad at me. And in other places, it's not growing right there. So it doesn't like that spot right there, but it likes other spots. And what I'd like to do is let's see if we can apply some polyurethane and make them all go away.
So do the sanding and do the polyurethane. Okay.
And I'll leave you a homework assignment if you can, is to identify all the spots, because you found one. So that means that what we'll do is take this one off the hinges and we'll take it
And check the
outside
bottom.
on a prettier day and yeah.
I'm curious about looking at the top now too.
Yeah, well there's nothing on the top.
Of those two?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
All
okay.
right.
I mean, I want to put some polyurethane on those too, and while we got it off, I would like to do that one as well. But
This has quite a bit
What's
on
that?
top. Mold.
Is it mold?
But it's not been sealed on top, I don't think.
yeah, well that might be another clue, because the other ones didn't either, but they didn't look bad. And this is covered badly, which if you look at the other two,
Yeah.
they don't look like this.
Yep.
So
I'm thinking that the bottom hasn't been
Right.
sealed maybe either.
sure. You don't have any moisture meters in your house, do you? But see, this is.
I see it blowing
Yeah.
off when you hit it.
I did too, and
Yeah.
that was I don't know, what's the right
moisture
word?
meters.
Proliferation.
We've got a lot of moisture in this house.
Yeah. I can tell from
I
the.
mean, if we
Yeah.
put a dehumidifier up here, it would run and fill up all the time. I mean, that's just the nature of this place out here.
There's a house in the country by the
Yeah.
water, and my
Yeah.
house is the same way, and
Yeah.
it's concrete floor, and it just, it's a drippy house.
Yeah, now, I'll show you the line on the